Now to Minnesota. The man accused of shooting 4 people in a politically motivated attack has formally been charged.
Vance Boelter made his first appearance in court today, facing an array of charges in the attack the federal prosecutor called the stuff of nightmares. Boelter, currently in federal custody at this hour after he was arrested in a rural area. Joining us now live is Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard. And Sheriff, thank you very much, first of all, for joining us. We now know at least 2 lawmakers from Michigan were on that list of targets. So what types of conversations are you having with local lawmakers tonight?
I've actually been talking with a number of them going back to when this first broke. I got an intelligence commander thread on this when it first started happening. Actually, right here, I've got the list of everybody that's on the list anywhere in the country. So we're going through it, and we're obviously communicating with legislators. It doesn't really matter what level, whether they be county, state, or federal. We just want to make sure that they have processes, protocols in place to protect themselves, understand threats in the nature of this world, and be proactive on that front.
Yeah, Sheriff, sounds like you're being proactive. So we've already heard at least 1 town hall has been canceled due to security concerns. Given this threat, what other measures are you suggesting politicians and the greater public be using when gathering at political functions right now?
Well, a lot of it is situational awareness, to know your surroundings, notice things as they happen. And it's not just for, a threat that might be an active shooter. It could be anything. So, for example, if you go into a theater, when you go in, the door you came in is one door you might be able to get out. Where are the other doors? How would you get to them from your seat? Where are you positioned as it relates to movement in that theater? Should it be an active shooter like they have had in different theaters? Or what if it's a fire? What if it's a tornado? So situational awareness is key and important regardless of the venue. And then specific things that you can do in and around your home and where you work. I'll be communicating with the legislators and elected officials on that front as well.
I have to ask you, Sheriff, obviously, there's so much concern after the fact that we learned that that suspect in Minneapolis disguised himself as an officer, even with a patrol vehicle. So, what is that advice? I know in a statement you issued earlier that you mentioned, there's no room for political violence in America, and we need to take these actions to keep our lawmakers safe. But when somebody shows up at your door and they're in a uniform and there's a car, what kind of advice are you giving folks?
Well, and it's not just a police car, because if you remember, we had that tragic homicide in Rochester Hills where they were impersonating utility workers and were able to gain access to the house and murdered that individual. So anytime anyone shows up at your door, don't open that door until you know who's on the other side of it and if they're legitimate. If you have any questions, call whatever organization they say they're representing. That's the most important thing you can do. And don't stand directly in front of the door, because we've seen, situations right here in Oakland County where a person was standing in front of the door, didn't open it, and they shot through the door and hit him. And you saw that also in this instance play out. So, just do some things to protect yourself. And then finally, make sure your doors have real locks and real bolts and some way to secure it so it's not easily breached, because that's your space to fall back and protect yourself if need be, but also to give time for the real cavalry to arrive is having a door or ways to prevent them from getting closer to you during that time frame.
All good advice. Sheriff Mike Bouchard, thank you so much for that context and perspective. We appreciate you joining us tonight.
Sure thing.
All right.
Thanks.